Hi, welcome back to Modern Daze. This is the fourth episode. Is that right?
Yep.
We on
Yep.
fourth?
Yep.
Cool. This is the fourth episode. Go watch the others. Seriously. Um. It's really hot today. We're all. Well, I say we're all. I'm melting and my brain is going with it. So forgive all of us if we're a little bit slow.
Useless.
And
Useless.
ginger.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a northerner living in the south, so
None of us are built for this. So some of us have beer, so that's cool. And
Some of
let's
us have
start.
children that have drunk all their beer.
That sounds like a you problem. Let's let's introduce some of our players. And this week's question is, what is the scariest moment that your character has experienced to date? So let's start with Ken.
The scariest. I play Liam O'Brien, a ranger, and the scariest moment to date, I think, would have to be on the first full moon after his 13th birthday.
I like that. Yes, very cool. Let's go, Ian.
I mean, I play Daryl Knight, the Blaze Singer. His scariest moment was being banished from the realm of his birth at the age of 16 and having to fend for himself in the mortal realm.
Nice. Andy?
Hi, I'm Andy. I play Baron, who's one of the paladins.
Druid.
I was
Ranger.
speaking to be a cleric last week.
Cleric, sorry.
But I'm a paladin.
Honest.
And Baron's scariest moment was when he broke his oath to his order by worshipping a different deity.
Interesting. Ben?
I am Ben. I play Hendrix, who is a dog, which may or may not make sense depending if you've seen the earlier episodes. Hendrix has spent a good portion of his short life being scared. He's not really a brave dog. He's more like Scooby-Doo than Rin Tin Tin. But over the last year or so, he's run from monsters and magic and authorities and irate hot dog vendors and all sorts of things. But the thing that scares him most are the strange things he hears in his mind when he's alone and it's dark. And though he's never said anything to anyone about it, Hendrix is scared there's something dark and terrible lurking within him, just waiting for a chance to come out. Wow.
I love all of these characters, by the way. All of them. Tom, go for you.
Hi, I'm playing Raphy Matthews. Raphy's scariest moments, apart from when he found out who he is and he faced literal hell, was actually the tryouts for the Olympic karate team.
Love it. And Kyle, obviously.
Hi, I'm Carl. I play Cadman, the Paladin. Cadman's scariest moment was probably when he was kidnapped and attacked with all sorts of tools.
Oh, that's a good way of putting that. I like that. Awesome. Awesome. That's our characters and a very short recap. Last week we did a lot of info dump. Truly, there was so much. I think the whole episode was just the aftermath of the attack at Bellevue Manor. Most of you guys, have are going to probably. I don't know if you're going to go as a party or split off or do your thing. I mean, this is the first time that you're acting as a group, as it were, established or unestablished just yet. So let's see how we go forward. Last thing that we did was there was 4 of you, I believe, in the library, which was Beren, Liam, Daryl, and Hendrix, where you'd found out quite a bit about Prince Jadba, which was the married Jin, and his Efreet soldiers that had attacked and since left. Renwick himself is currently on the phone and / sending stone, informing the Mage Council of the breach, unfortunately, which will likely mean that at any moment there will be some Mage Council officials turning up at the property.
So we want to get out of here before we get stuck in vast amounts of questions.
Yes, yeah, I mean that's a smart idea, to be honest. You will all likely be asked for a statement of your events and things, but we don't have to roleplay that. It will just happen and you just tell me what your character has given as your version of events, essentially. What was Cadman doing? I can't remember what he was doing during this time.
I was trying to any means possible to heal the lady, but didn't.
Oh
work.
yeah, Junie. Yeah, she's asleep. But I think we'd all gone downstairs.
Yeah, and
at
I'd
that
left
point,
it,
so...
and then we were.
Yeah.
I'd stepped out to make a phone call to Ash.
Ash, that's where I'm going to start off. So
just say in the library, is that when we were looking at someone had found a book called
Hendrix.
Limited. Oh God, how do you?
I know. Just show it on
Clavicia Solomonus.
Yes,
that's awful pronunciation. Now, had Hendrix shared that? I can't remember.
Yeah, he'd knocked it onto the floor, hadn't he, and barked at people.
Okay.
No, I think he said, "Come over here," didn't he?
Yeah.
Or maybe he just
somebody said, "Oh, you can talk."
Yeah, I said he.
I think we'd had all that before.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
This is about the third time everyone's been surprised that I can talk.
Every NPC is now going to be like,
"You can talk."
I'm joking.
We can make a joke of that every time.
Every time, just to annoy Ben for making a strong character choice. I'm joking. So let's start off, I think, then with Raphy.
Yes, that's
as
right.
He just stepped away into a different room to make a phone call. You do realise that your phone is a bit on the fritz in this house, and there's only certain points that kind of get reception.
If need be, I'll actually step outside the building.
So you can do that. You can absolutely do that. But Daria sees you trying to get a thing, and she does say to you, she's actually moving around freely now. She's all kind of bandaged herself up, and she's gone to her room, got a different shirt on, and made sure she doesn't look like an actual bloody mess. She tells you that there is actually a telephone, like a proper telephone, with a telephone line. In the one of the reception rooms that are a little on the same floor.
No, it's in the next.
So
I'll send a quick text saying I'm just about to call you from a random number.
Okay. Yeah, it goes through. You see the delivered message, and you can use the phone. The phone is in a drawing room type thing with the two fireplaces, the big space that seems to have a lot of very dated and dusty furniture. There's very nice, nicely made furniture, but clearly quite old, and the telephone is on the wall. It's one of those I don't know what you'd call them, circular dials.
Dial phones.
Dial phones.
Dial
Yeah.
phone. Oh my God, you're that young.
I'm 33 years old. Okay. They weren't around when I was around. Well, so you can use that and phone whoever you're going to phone.
I'm going to give Ash a bell.
Okay. Rings a couple of times. Is it on their mobile?
Yeah.
Okay. So a couple of rings, and then they pick up. Raphy, darling, what do you want?
Hi, babes. You got a couple of minutes to chat?
Yeah, a couple of minutes though. We've had a bit of a trouble down here.
Anything I can help with?
Oh, mate. I don't suppose you know anything about the FOA and the Highgate Hellspawn business going on at the moment, do you?
I've got a little bit of an idea. I can ask around.
Uh-oh.
Are you in the centre of it?
Well, some of the fools ended up here last night, and I'm dealing with the leftovers, so it ended up in a bit of a fight. They're all gone. They've left. There's no point telling anyone around about it, but it's caused quite a bit of problems. What can I help you with? Don't worry about it, love. Don't worry about it.
It's just a real quickie. I've been asked to do a little bit of a job.
Oh
but-
yeah.
Yeah. It's quite a bit of cash as well, actually. But
Remember
slight
who your friends
issue.
are, darling.
Oh yeah. Slight problem. They needed a magical container to hold some magical water. Now
Right.
they've tried using like bog standard thermos, didn't work. Yeah. Just wondering, do you know anyone who has got something like that I could buy or borrow?
Magical thermoses or
Potion bottles. I know this old school.
potion bottles. Now, potion bottles. I mean, there's plenty of people that know potion bottles. It's just for magical water.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's to retain its enchanted ability then.
Yeah.
They think about it for a little bit. You can hear them ticking it over in their brains. Well, I know a few people. I don't know if any of them are around at the moment. You could try asking. Do you know the hotel?
Yeah, I know the hotel.
Yeah, Pepper, the guy behind the bar at Pepper's place.
Okay.
Frank. He does all that magic container stuff for the funky cocktails he makes, isn't it?
Yeah.
You try there.
That's a good shout, actually. I'll have to. Well, I'll be heading back anyway. I'll be back in London in a couple of hours.
All right, darling. Well, if you fancy popping over to give us a hand clearing some of this shit up,
Yeah, no problem.
But if not, don't worry about it. Yeah.
Do you want me to have a word with some people? Try and find out.
Do you know anyone from the Highgate Hellspawns or the FOA?
I might know someone who knows someone.
All right. Well, don't get yourself into any trouble because they're bad news, mate.
No, I'd never do anything like that.
Lovey, they're bad news. Do not get involved.
I'll have a quiet word with a couple of people, see what I can find out, see what this all kicked off about.
All right.
Yeah. And just remind them that Slimelight's meant to be neutral.
Damn straight. And it used to be that no one would start shit in any of my establishments, let alone Slimelight.
Exactly.
Anyway, I gotta go.
No worries. Listen, much loves. Okay.
Right, I love you. Kisses.
Yeah. Kisses. See you in a couple of hours, yeah?
Yeah. See you soon.
Bye.
And they hang up. So yeah, you have a potential link there to.
I'll go back into the library.
Yeah. Cool.
Right. So might have a lead on something. Got to head back to London, sort some stuff out for my boyfriend's
Partner,
they friend, my gorgeous other half. So I will try and track down that lead. I'll let you know what's going on. I'll look to Lord Rinamic. If it's going to cost me anything, I'll get an invoice. I'll give you the invoice.
Yes, please do.
Okay.
Thank you. By the way, this actually takes a huge problem out of my hands.
No,
I can
listen. There's no guarantee
on Eugenie.
Yeah, there's no guarantee.
No, of course not. I have a few things that I still need to chase up on anyway. So
we have a month.
Weren't you going to ask?
Well, do we have a month? I thought that was the second.
No,
option.
No, we have 2 days or 1 month to do this thing, and we got one more. Lord Renwick's got one more shot at being allowed to go into it because the council have gone. They don't want people going in.
Yeah. So it's just for clarification. This is out of character.
Yeah.
It's either in 2 nights or in a month, or a month
both.
and 2 nights. I say it's not both. So he is asking if you would get everything ready for 2 nights.
Okay. So in that case,
But obviously, it's up to you guys.
in that case, in character,
Yeah.
I have a potential idea of another place to secure some kind of magical vessel. Shall I pursue that down as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's never going to be wasted. If you find that you are spending money, like I'm perfectly happy to give the money up front for certain things. I can also give you all your upfront money for this mission now. If you're willing to take it now.
I suspect the payment may
Certainly
have to be in some form of favour that you would owe.
That's generally how we work, at least. But you can have either the money's worth or boon
I'll find
to
out.
the valuer.
I'll find out if I can get something first, and then come back to you.
Absolutely. Daria can write down the house number for you guys, unless you have a magical way of contacting people.
The house phone number, you mean?
Yes, the
Yeah,
Bellevue house phone
I'm
number.
taking a copy of that, please.
Yeah, so she'll hand it out. Or
Plug it
scrap of
into
paper.
my smartphone.
Nice. Anyone else need to do anything, or
Liam will say, I thought we were going to talk to this lot who came in last, who went in last. Sorry,
That was the other idea to do as well.
I thought that's what. I'm sorry, Tom. I've forgotten your character's name.
Raphy.
Raphy. I thought that's where you were going, Raphy.
Something might have come up. I don't know.
No, I thought that's what the call was.
No. That was about the container.
Oh.
But if you guys were talking, you guys were talking about like Sergeant Clemens, and some of the people who were in the Ruby Jacks. So I thought I'd be leaving that to you guys. I said, Daryl, didn't you know someone?
Well, no, we came across him when we were looking for that mask guy. Didn't really have too much of an interaction, but yeah, Sergeant Clements knew him, so I might be able to get some information on him there.
And you seem to know Clements better than the rest of us, so
Yeah, I've worked with him a few times.
yeah. Okay. Why don't you try and get hold of him? I'm going to just chat, see if I've got another source for a magical container.
Sorry, out of character, did Davia tell us where they were?
no? She gave
Right, okay.
a phone number for each of them, but she
Right,
doesn't
okay.
actually know where that. She knows that 2 of the members, because there was a party of 5.
Yep.
Jack died, left 4 of them. 2 of them have left the country, and it's just Seth and Val that she's given you the number for, and she's there somewhere. But you've obviously seen them recently, so evidently they could be close by.
I think it would be better if we can find out where they hang out and turn up there, rather than phone them and potentially spook them and cause them to.
Yeah, because that's going to work a real treat, isn't it?
I think turning up on him is probably more likely to spook him.
Okay.
But I wouldn't mind a little bit more background from Sergeant Clements on the.
Okay.
Or Clem can give me some lowdown on him.
Okay.
I've got Scoot. I'm off to London to get some things sorted.
Give us your phone number.
Yeah, okay, no worries.
And here's
Yours
mine.
phone number.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Does anyone? And I'm guessing Hendrix might be an issue here. Does anyone not have a mobile phone?
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
So, the other 5 of us. Yeah, sorry, 4 of us. God, I can't count tonight. Swap numbers. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
easy enough.
And then we'll just have to arrange places to meet with Cadman and Hendrix.
Okay.
Hendrix, we'll have to get you one of those little collars with a little bum bag from it.
We can say some sort of GPS location collar.
You need to get one of those service dog like things with everything on it, like a tack vest. But it's
I thought you were
service
you going to get me a little earpiece.
dog. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can get the push to talk things.
Mm.
So.
Bark to talk.
Spark to talk, yeah.
Well,
Um,
so just thinking, if this place is potentially full of undead, do we need anything more than you godly fellas to keep them away from us, or will that be enough?
A few gallons of holy water.
Probably doesn't hurt, does it?
Water pistols it is then, yeah?
Water pistols.
Super soakers.
Yeah. Oh,
with,
you're going to get the
with holy
range,
water.
yeah?
yeah, if someone can get some super soakers full of holy water, I don't think that'd be a bad idea. It's good. That's quite a nice one.
Well, you've got to be the man with the contacts with holy water, surely.
Presumptuous of you.
Yeah.
So, it just as an out of character note, holy water. You're all heroes. You know what certain things do. Holy water does affect undead, but they only make mundane items effective against them as like a normal weapon. Because some undead have resistance or immunity to bludgeoning, slashing, piercing, etc. All holy water does is just make it so that it takes the effect. It doesn't double any dice, doesn't add any damage.
So you just douse a weapon in holy water,
and it will have 3 uses of, and then you have to reapply. So, holy water is a cool idea if you're planning like anything funky. But I think all of you have magical means to fight. Have you not?
Yeah.
None of you are using mundane weapons anymore. Everything you do counts as magical. Just as I didn't want you to go off. You can absolutely go and find some holy water. You can get it from any church, pretty much, you know, or if you know of a cleric. Minor NPCs, I don't mind you saying, would I know this person, or would I know of an NPC? So just ask if you're.
In answer to your question, though, my god is not part of a mainstream church, so there isn't sort of a font of holy water I can help myself to.
Not so holy then.
Well, we'll find out. Seems to be fairly holy so far, but
I have sources for holy water in my business, but I tend to find it's not very useful. It's that they just don't like it. It doesn't really do much.
So back to the ravening hordes of undead then. How do we deal with them?
Just like you would any other horde. Kill it. Hit it.
Shoot him, says Dusk.
What she said.
Sure, we can do something like that.
So, where is everybody going? What's everyone doing?
So, I think Ian's about to make a. Sorry.
Holy damage is good if you can do that, like the 2 paladins.
So, Daryl's going to make one phone call. I'm also going to make a second.
Okay.
Then who want to do first?
Let's go, Daryl. What have you? Are you making a phone call? Are you, or is it to?
I was probably going to head up to the ICC and probably see him in person if we're departing. So
In that case, I will do Andy first for that,
Yeah,
and then
sure.
I'll do separate scenes for people that want to split off and do stuff. Right?
Because I may go and join someone else, but all I'm going to do is I'm going to phone Mercy Ashcroft.
Oh yeah, okay. So Daria suggests if you're making it obvious that you're about to make a phone call.
Oh, I go somewhere private.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So they don't know. Okay. Yeah. So you go and find. You probably, if it's from a mobile and not like a sending stone or a magical thing, you will need to find. You'll probably need to step outside of the building.
Okay.
Just go to the end of the driveway, because as I say, the magical influence of everything, just everything in this bloody house, is just interferes with it enough that it becomes annoying.
B, you never sent over that gang info.
I know. I literally realised I did it now because you and another player has information on gang stuff, and I forgot about it. I will send you both a whisper when I have a moment.
Okay.
But for now, don't worry about it too much. I'll let you know if you know anything.
Okay. No
okay.
problem.
I'll make up for that. I'm sorry.
No.
Okay, so Beren, you find yourself at the end of the driveway. and you have enough reception to phone Mercy. She picks up after a couple of rings, and she goes, "Baron."
Ms. Ashcroft, sorry to disturb you.
Not at all.
I've been asked to help out Lord Renwick with trying to find a cure
Yes.
for his wife. I'm sure you're probably aware of previous attempts and
Yes.
licenses and so on.
Mhm.
As part of the escapade, he needs some kind of magical bottle to hold a liquid and retain its magical properties.
How soon does he need this?
Well, potentially in 2 days' time. Can you suggest someone that
It's rather unprepared for him. It's not like him.
he had one and it broke?
Unusual. Okay. Are you asking if I know of any
Yes, precisely.
vessels?
Can you direct me to someone I can trade a favour from Lord Renwick for such a bottle?
Sorry, I'm just looking up some notes. Okay. Of course. It's not on my computer. How annoying. Sorry, guys. I'll be 2
Sorry?
seconds. Here we go. Well,
Some kind
maybe
of artificer or something like
we've
that?
got a department at the council that obviously creates magical items. They're very short-lived, so they may be one use only, but they generally do for the job needed. There's a artificer there, head artificer, but I can't remember any of their names. Best person to speak to about it would have been, well, is the High Enchanter Balthazar Fitzwarren. However, he's currently indisposed, so I can direct you to who's the best person that would know. I'd say, and you can hear her sort of like going through some kind of notebook. Try speaking with Reuben Hughes. He's the aide to Councillor Augustus Wildblood. He generally has quite a bit to do with the enchanting department. I can send you over his number.
Thank you.
Tell him that that it was me that referred you.
Okay.
You should be able to get quite a quick response. How is Lord Renwick?
Lord Renwick is extremely worried about his wife, and his wife seems very ill.
Yes, it is a shame. Well, I'm sure that whatever the assignment is, it would be most safe in your hands. Good luck.
Thank you.
And she. Boop.
What time
yeah,
of day or night is it?
So, I believe everybody got there quite as it was turning to dusk. So it's now nighttime. It's now probably, I'd say, after everybody's done all their investigation stuff, between 8 and 9 o'clock, because this is late autumn getting into winter time.
Okay.
So it's dark.
Then in that case, I will just text Ruben.
It is
Hughes.
unseasonably warm, which is very.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. You're welcome.
I'll just text Ruben Hughes then, because it's a bit late at night, and just say I've been blah blah blah. I've been given your number by Miss Ashcroft. I need to talk to you about magical bottle to store a magic item, etc.
You send the message, and about 5 seconds later, you get a phone call.
Okay.
Yep. I'm sorry. Who is it? Who's speaking? This is Ruben Hughes.
My name's Beren. I work occasionally for Miss Ashcroft.
Yes, I saw that. How can I help you, Mr. Beren?
As I said in the text message, I need to borrow, at a very short notice, a magical bottle that can store a liquid and retain its magical properties.
Retain its magical properties. This is liquid, particularly corrosive in any way. Is it?
I don't believe so. No, it is water.
Simply water. I believe we have a couple of containers. I don't know how quickly we could get them to you. You would likely have to come and collect them yourself.
I will happily do that. Where are you? Can that be done tonight, or would it be tomorrow morning?
So I think this is an OC note. I placed you all here. If you look on the map, so this is Bellevue Manor. So if you were to travel to Birmingham,
sorry, ping that again, please.
Am I on the thingy layer?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, I see it.
That's
Cool.
it.
You see it?
Yeah.
Andy?
The roll 20 is
Playing
okay. No,
So-
roll 20 is not pinging.
Oh,
It's the pin in between Birmingham and London.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
cool. So to get to Birmingham tonight, you're probably looking at it's going to be a lot later, probably like 11 o'clock.
Is that acceptable? Would you rather 8 o'clock tomorrow morning?
He says, no, I will be at the ICC until gone midnight, no doubt.
I'll be back in a minute, guys.
Yeah, no worries. You may come and collect one tonight, but it would have to be returned after use. Is that?
Yes. I mean, yeah, certainly. Miss Ashcroft implied that it would be single use, so I was under the impression.
Yes.
So you want
The items are re-enchanted.
Got
We
you. Okay.
yes. Unfortunately, although there are as we well know, there's many of items that are blessed by the gods themselves or higher creatures. We are not those higher creatures, and we can only enchant them for a limited time or certain amount of uses. So we will need the item back after it has been used.
And it will still be usable in 2 days' time.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I will see you there as soon as possible then.
I will send you the location, and as soon as he comes off the phone, you get the idea that this guy just responds real quickly. He's an aide. He's like they're basically magical interns.
Gotcha.
Rushed off their feet. So he messages you the location. It's very close to the ICC, literally walking distance. And it's like a block of flats or block of offices, I should say, that just looks really boring from the outside. But obviously, the Mages Council have using them for purposes. So, yeah, you are given that location.
Okay.
So
I shall then go back to the library and just say to everyone, I've got a source for another magical vessel, and I'll look at Raphy's. As far as I'm concerned, multiple sounds like a good idea to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I have to go to the ICC, to near the ICC tonight. If anyone wants to come with me.
I sort of jump in. I'm probably going to be heading to the ICC, although I've got to. If multiples is a good thing, I might have another channel, which I'll have
I think worth pursuing, because it would be very stupid to go through all this and discover that whatever vessel
And lose one of those.
Yeah, and the vessel does not work. So if we can get multiple.
Yeah, I'll need to go alone to talk to my contact, but I can meet you at the ICC.
Well, I'm heading to the ICC. Were you on that fancy motorbike? Did I see?
Yes, I'm sure it's fancy.
Mine was the beaten up old Land Rover. I imagine you'll get there sooner than I will.
Cool.
Right, I'll see you later, folks. I've got to get off.
Okay.
So then
I'm gonna I'm going to help the ICC as well. Does anyone wish to come with me?
Where's that?
Birmingham.
I
The OC, the ICC,
Birmingham.
Birmingham. Yeah, but what is the
It's the Mages Council building. But not necessarily. Well,
No,
the
no.
the ICC is the Mages
Yeah,
Council
okay.
building.
I've got a friend I'll go ask.
Okay. Just checking because I don't want anyone to forget. And like I said, I'm happy to throw hints and stuff at the beginning of this game. There was also the mention that people wanted potions potentially. And I gave a name for that. And then obviously, if you wanted to go and visit your people, the Ruby Jacks or whoever. Ben, what's Hendrix
Gareth
doing?
Smith was the contact to buy potions.
Yes. Yes.
And who's got his contact details?
So Daria gave you his contact details. She
All
said,
us, yeah.
she gave you a location that he was last at. That's it's a little bit sort of what's that east from where you are now, but not like massively out of the way if you were going to go now or tomorrow or whatever. Like it's within driving distance of the middle of the country.
Does someone want to go and sort out getting whatever potions you can on tick for Lord of Renwick?
Might be better to do that after tonight's other expedition. Perhaps on the way back. I'm assuming we'll be starting from here when we do.
Of course, yeah. Good point.
Okay. Hendrix.
I think Hendrix is gonna abuse Lord Renwick's library some more for his own purposes, just to see if he can discover anything that might be useful for either finding John or just to help with the mission.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to use his larder.
Yeah, I thought that was
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
So okay, let's resolve some of that now then. So you're looking specifically for anything that could help you with John. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or with this mission.
Or with this mission. Okay. Make me 2 investigation checks then. The first one is going to be for John. The second one will be for the mission.
Righty ho.
Okay. And fucking hell. Die in a hole. Jesus Christ. Okay, so the first one was for John, which is still really fucking good. You think back to that day you woke up and he wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And through your although you were much younger, obviously you're not very old, but it was a while ago for you, and thinking about it, there's a lot of hazy details that
things might not have made as much sense then as they do
exactly
after
that
years of experience.
Exactly that. When you faced the Married as it was coming up, and the Ifrit as you came through the house, that smell, they smelled like dust, but now obviously you have that scent in your nose, because you rolled for that, and I said that you could have advantage on tracking them down again if you ever pick up their scent again. But you know from the book that you found, that you also rolled very high on, about Ifrit and Marids and things like that, are demons.
Yeah.
And in that book, there are a lot of details about different demons and different fiends and things like that, and how to identify them. And there is a description about a certain odors and smells, one of them being very sulfurous and almost like bad eggs and things like that you recognize. That is that describes the smell that you could smell when the day that John disappeared.
Okay.
It's also the smell of that drink that the woman and John gave you all those many years ago.
Okay.
When you first woke up, as it were. So you feel that there is some potentially some link there with John, and you know that the Mage Council always talk about John's link with fiends because he's a warlock.
Yep.
That's where he got his mage powers from. But it may have been a little bit more direct than even they thought. Perhaps they thought that he had just been killed in maybe a gang fight that happens in London occasionally between the people that have given themselves over to the fiends, or they don't really care about John, basically.
Yeah. No.
But this is this could potentially give you more information about how to figure out which fiend, or even
so do I have
following certain signs?
Like you said, I was able to narrow down the list of the married to identify the one based
Jadwa.
on what I knew. Am I able to get a short list for?
There is.
John, then?
It's very difficult because of back when the list for the gin were being made, there was just 72, and it was much easier, and it was a long time ago, and it is a very specific situation. There have been millions or thousands and thousands of fiends since then. It would be very difficult to narrow it down. However, you can. I think you're starting to feel that maybe some of the gang stuff had something to do with it. As the other person that knows about gang stuff in the party, that there are, specifically in London, certain gangs of like warlocks and tieflings and such creatures that are allied with certain fiends that obviously don't exist on this plane of existence, but will influence them, and it's almost like fighting for territory on the more mundane realm. So that could give you a head start to finding out something, maybe looking into that. For the what was the second role for
this mission?
For this mission. Ooh. Okay. I have to honor a nat 20 here. So with the location that you've been given, which I don't think I've actually verbalized it as an NPC yet, but they would have given you the rough location.
They thought it was
North Wales.
Oh, right. So what we know, they told us that it could be one of the 5
Caer, Pedrains, Caer, Veridin, etc. You're able to, I think, with your, for some reason, insane level of
mad book skills.
Yeah, your Google foo, but hardcore Google foo. I think it's more down to focus. A lot of very intellectual people get too distracted by everything that's going on in their heads. You're very intelligent, but you're also very focused. And this is the thing you're hunting.
There's very little going on in his head.
Yes, like tumbleweed, but there's a train line and it's going straight forward.
Bloodhound, definitely.
Bloodhound, that's it.
He's got something in mind, and that's what he's going for.
I think that's a very good description, actually, because obviously, as a dog, when you find something, that's it. That is the only thing on your mind, is doing that thing.
Yeah.
Which gives you the freedom, that gives you a sense of clarity that most people don't get. So when you are looking for any information about this place, you do find specifically the name of this place. So you know that you're going to the Skerries, which is an island just off of northwest Wales, which is a physical location in modern realm.
Yep.
And
How's Skerries spelled?
here we go. I'll write it in here.
Oh.
Which is a collection of small islands, but very close together. Like literally, you can wait for low tide and walk across to them. Of probably what would have been a slightly bigger island. In mythology, specifically Old Welsh mythology, the islands were said to be the realm of certain god-like creatures, or maybe high fae creatures, like very powerful fae. It was referred to as the other world, which is another word for fairy.
Okay.
You don't know whether it's still part of fairy anymore, but the location is Caer Sidi, and that is you have a certainty that it is Caer Sidi, that's where you guys are going to.
Okay.
The research that you find on Caer Sidi is that it was visited by King Arthur himself. It was also so King Arthur had a boat called Prydwen. This part isn't important. This is just me being a nerd about it. Which he filled 3 times and was able to take over to Caer Sidi. So that's roughly about 50 to 60 men, and he only returned with 7 every time he went over. He went to each of the cares and only ever returned with 7 people.
Okay.
The story of what happened around that, obviously there's a lot of conflicting reports, very old stories, a lot of mythology and folklore is told orally, so things change from area to area, and obviously time factors into a lot of the things that a lot of this. You find a book called the Mabignonian, which is a series of Welsh poems that tell you about heroes, Welsh heroes back in the day, King Pryderi, Gwydion, Iron Druid, and a few other people. I'm going to put these names in here because I think that you'll probably note them down. So, sorry. Gwydion and Iron Druid. King Pryderi. And Branwen. There's a couple of others there, but they're super not important.
Okay.
To what I'm trying to sort of convey to you, what you might find there. These are very, very old stories, so it's probably going to be very changed from what was written about it before. It is said to be a place of beauty. It was the territory of Iron Druid, who is a goddess. She's known as the Silver Wheel. Silver Wheel. Which makes you think, the moon being a full moon is probably important to the opening of this bubble realm.
Okay.
That's why it can only be done on a full moon. You know that an item has to be sacrificed powerful item or artifact has to be sacrificed to enter, and that you must meet a stranger.
What about to get out again? Because you have to sacrifice something to get out again.
It doesn't say anything about that, so you can assume either way.
When it says must meet a stranger.
Yes. So, Renwick and Daria both mentioned that the Ruby Jacks had to speak with a stranger to go, so they might know a little bit more about it. It doesn't say anything about in the book about the stranger specifically. Doesn't say anything about it. And I think that's probably everything I can tell you.
Brilliant.
It's so hot, my brain is melted. I'm so sorry.
That's
Okay.
fine.
Do you
And
want to
a
talk
20
to?
as well.
Yeah, and an at 20. Yeah. Do you want to ask? Are you going to ask them now? Whilst I've still got things in the brain specific to that, or are you going to try and just figure stuff up for yourself?
Ask who? Sorry.
Are you gonna the Renwick or
right.
Daria about anything? Do you want to I will let you include the investigation check as you asking them as well, if you're allowing them to be part of that. So I can just say that Daria explains to you, because Renwick seems to be busy. After a couple of, because this takes a while. Although I know it's an at 20, but it takes about an hour for you to go through all of these books that you've got sprawled all over the floor, and she's kind of taken an interest in just watching you work. And as you talk and discuss things, she explains a few things to you. One of the things is when they'd found the diaries entries of the people that had been there, which she also shows you, and it's just an account of people that had gone in like 1709 or something like that, and they'd found this healing spring, but also it had already been overrun with undead. So something had happened between the days of King Arthur, which is obviously, the beginning centuries, like after, BC, I mean, not AD, sorry. BC? AD. To now, something's happened. The stranger is something called a circle spirit. Circle spirits happen or occur around places where ley lines meet. So ley lines are the currents of power that run across the whole of the mundane realm, and where they meet and cross over once, twice, 3 times, whatever, those meeting points create a personification of something. It's usually a humanoid that will be incredibly powerful, but they are spirits in the sense of not undead. They are just the physical representation of what's around them, but they are innately magical. They are very powerful, but they have no real motivations for anything. They're not like gods. You can't worship them. They don't get, they're only as powerful as the ley lines allow them to be. The stranger is one of those circle spirits, and you have to meet with him at the Skerries to open the way to Caer Sidi.
Gotcha.
This is the person that you have to meet at midnight, between midnight and 3 o'clock in the morning on a full moon, and you give him the item, but there's rules around how you interact with him. You can't introduce yourself, because that would take away the point of you being strangers.
Okay.
You mustn't know each other, so
you can't go again.
Yeah, you can only go once. And so if he has met you, he will refuse to talk to you, basically, and refuse to interact. And if he's provoked, he will leave. So it has to be done very delicately. And it's not so much as a big ritual as it used to be done. He's described as just an older looking gentleman in a raincoat and rain hat, rather scraggly beard, very unapproachable look about him. And yeah, that's the stranger. So you can. That's everything I think I'm going to give you for a nat 20, which
No,
is quite a bit.
marvelous.
Cadman, just before we go off and do, you good?
I plan to try and go back to Canterbury and talk to Lady Luck.
Okay. So I will now start doing the individual bits and pieces. I'm going to start with Tom and work my way around, just because that's in the order I talk to people first time. All right.
Yep.
So Tom.
Yeah.
Raphy heads off to, where's he going? Sorry.
I'm going straight back to London. First off, to go and see Ash to help out for a bit.
Yep, they meet you. Obviously very happy to see you, but you can see that they're very stressed. They're usually very glamorous and well presented and unbothered. They're actually looking quite stressed out. This has actually ruined their evening. You can see the back air, or the downstairs areas where the magical people go in Slimelight. It's hidden obviously from mundanes. It's almost completely trashed. It just seems to be one area where there seems to be a mosh of things that have happened. Tables are broken, chairs. They do explain to you that some of that was technically their fault. When you look through the CCTV and you can see the stuff going on, it's a magical CCTV. It's technically like a little floating orb thing that projects it into the room, which is kind of cool. You can see that in the projection, they respond to an outbreak of these people fighting by casting a spell which flings them up to the ceiling and then back down again, knocking them all out, or doing a lot of damage, but also does it to the furniture as well. You see in this, in fact, make me a perception check. They will give you advantage on this because they're pointing out things, so you may do it with advantage.
On D&D Beyond. Catch faster. I'm doing an Andy. I've got too many tabs open.
I've got
No.
a lot less open at the moment, I'll tell you that.
Nobody can do it, Andy.
No, it's physically impossible.
Okay.
Computers can't handle an Andy.
Oh, you get it. It's a good thing you got advantage.
Yeah, very good thing.
Okay. So, I'm echoing. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
It's fine. They point out sort of who started what. You can see from the beginning of this fight, as it's projected in front of you in the room, there was people just having a usual night, partying. There's no sound to these things. It's just purely visual, which obviously is annoying, but you can see that there's a couple of people, they're usually youngsters, tieflings mostly. There's a couple of just normal human, probably mages or some such, in Slimelight. And then during the course of the night, another group comes in. There's clearly tension you can see across the room. At some point, a couple of them pull on these like blood red balaclavas over their heads. These, are the Highgate Hellspawn. So that's their colours, as it were. So they pull those on, and then they start throwing punches and spells, and it gets real messy really quick. Everybody else that's partying seems to disperse, and it just ends up in a mosh pit. With your 15, there's a couple of people you recognise on the other side of the not the Highgate Hellspawns, the ones that don't currently have any way of covering their faces. One of them you recognise as Ozzy.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so there's maybe one or two others that you don't really know the name of, but they're like Ozzy's friends.
Yeah.
So when Renee said to you that he might have been getting involved in stuff with Six again, this is kind of a confirmation, really. during the course of the fight, obviously, Ash throws out their hand, causes this spell. They go flying up, come back down again. There's quite a few injuries. Some of them quite serious. Ozzy looked quite hurt, but is carried away by a couple of his boys. On the Highgate side, it looks like maybe they had one fatality and carried them out. It was quite a serious fight. They were
Right.
gunning for blood. This is kind of unusual, really, because usually it's just peacocking.
Yeah.
It's just like, get off our turf. Also, this is neutral territory. It's well known
Yeah.
neutral territory. So
Okay, no problem.
It's
I'm going
unusual.
to give Ash a hug.
Yep, no return.
Say, I'm going to get out your hair for a second. Okay.
All right, darling.
Listen, I've got a few things to do. I've got to go and see the bloke at the hotel, and I've got to make a couple of phone calls as well.
All right.
Okay.
Well, send my love to Angelica.
Yeah, not a problem.
Tell her she's welcome here at any time once I've fucking fixed up this place.
So tomorrow night then.
Oh, of course, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, darling. Okay. Well,
No worries.
kisses.
Kisses, much love.
And then you leave.
Yeah.
You can. Yeah, go
As
on.
soon as I get outside, I'm going to make a phone call or two.
Okay. Who are you phoning?
First off, I want to call Renee.
Yeah. It's quite late. It sounds like she was sleeping when she rings. When she wakes up, she yeah. Hello. Who's this?
Yeah, Renee, it's Raphy.
Oh, Raphy, what do you want?
Yeah, listen. You said that you were having trouble getting hold of Ozzy.
Yeah, he's. I gave him an earful about he's going down. He's hanging out with the wrong sorts again, Raphy.
Yeah. Listen, he was down at Slimelight when it all kicked off.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, I want to get his address from the records. All
right.
Yeah. And I'll see if I can have a word. If he doesn't get in touch with us, can you tell him that I want a word?
I'll send him a message, but he's blocked
Yeah.
me. He won't. I will text him, but I don't know where he's going to be, Raphy. He's not staying. You know that Ozzy came out of foster care, so he tends to just stay with. I mean, he's about 17 years old, so he's at that age where he's just off sofa surfing, basically. And he could be literally anywhere.
No, it's tell you what, give us his number as well. I'll give him a bell myself.
No, yeah, she'll send you the number.
Yeah. If you do catch up with him, if you do spot him,
I'll let you know.
Yeah, please, and let him know that I want a word.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm getting a little bit worried about him.
Well, I told him that before, and that's why he blocked me. So
yeah,
apparently he doesn't need no help.
Yeah.
All right.
No worries. Listen, much love. Sorry to wake you.
Sorry.
I'll catch you later. Yeah.
Yeah. Talk to you later.
Okay.
And then hangs up. And you want to head to the hotel, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Do I know where one of the doors are? Yeah.
Where are you? You're in London. Yeah, you know where one of the doors are. They're fucking everywhere.
Cool.
You go to the nearest one that you know of. It's between a KFC and a closing down TK Maxx. The very ornate Art Deco golden doors is very out of place here, but nobody seems to notice as you enter into this this building. Just because it may take a little bit, I'm going to skip to another person and come back to you,
worries.
okay?
Yeah.
Andy, let's do. So, are you and Daryl traveling together for a little bit, or are you just splitting off to do your thing?
I think Daryl will get there first, so you might better do Daryl.
Oh, he's got to make a couple of stops on the way.
Okay. Right. I'll do Daryl first then, actually, if that's okay. Sorry, Andy.
It's fine.
Daryl, you get on your pedal bike.
Yeah.
Little ching ching on it.
He roars off.
Yeah.
Cloud of smoke and shower.
Yeah. Me.
Have you got lots of wing mirrors?
5. It's just one above
It's
each.
it's matte black. The bike's painted matte black, and there's nothing shiny on it. And, he heads off initially to Edgbaston.
Edgbaston. Okay.
Yeah, and you see him ride up the driveway of a fairly large. It's a mansion, but it's a small mansion.
Yeah.
He parks his bike in the turning circle at the end of the drive.
Yep.
Steps across into the portico of the house.
Yeah.
Takes out a long silver key.
Yeah.
And as he's doing that, there is an energy around the building. But as he puts the key in and turns it, it just drops.
There wasn't any energy this time.
Oh.
You go to put the key in, and there's no energy around this house. And you open the door.
Yeah. Cautiously.
Cautiously. You open the door very slowly, and you're already met with a feeling that something's not right. There's a weird energy here. And as the door slowly reveals the room in front of you, as dark as it is, you have very good vision in darkness anyway. You see it's been completely overturned. Furniture has been strewn around, pulled off the walls. All the pictures that were there have pulled off. Somebody has been through here, or some people have been through here and rifled it right up. What do you do?
Right. I start off again. I throw caution to the wind. I'm worried now.
Yeah.
So I start shouting, Frank, are you about? Frank.
Um,
And start moving. And when I'm looking, when you say pictures have been pulled off,
Yeah.
this is all really fine, almost priceless artworks.
Yep.
Are they smashed and destroyed as opposed to someone's not coming in and stolen it?
No, it's been ransacked in the terms of people have just pulled it off without any care for its the price of it, and thrown it on the floor. A lot of broken frames around, maybe a few ripped canvases as well. There are doesn't look well. Make me a investigation, and very quickly, who was Frank again? Just or if
Francis
you're...
Huntley. He's
you've just called him Frank. God damn it! Fuck you. Right, okay.
Your brain really has
Threw
melted.
me through the roof. Okay, yeah, no. Yeah, make me a investigation check. I'll tell you now, you don't get a response from your yelling.
Okay.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, you rush through the house, searching for someone, anyone, and when you don't get a response, that feeling in your stomach like a stone dropping, you start looking for a body, maybe.
Yeah.
Perhaps luckily or unluckily, you don't find anything.
Any signs of actual struggle? I appreciate there's lots of destruction here, but is there any
No,
blood,
there's no sign of a struggle. There does not seem to be a sign of any kind of fight. You don't think that Frank has come back here for months, which is a little unusual as well. What? Sorry, not months. Yes. No, it would be months. Yeah.
I'll go to the drawing room. Is the mantle clock still there?
There's a clock that was on the mantelpiece. It's on the floor, on its face. There's no sign of any paperwork.
Right.
You turn over the clock. It's got a cracked front now. It seems to have stopped dead at let's put it at 9:30. So not 9:30ish. So at whether it was in the morning, in the evening, and what day you don't know, but 9:30.
Yeah. Okay.
It that was likely when it was swiped off the shelf. You
That's-
guessed from the numbers in here, probably about 3 people. Lighter in step. So they're not people wearing big old boots. People that are not like they haven't broken anything specifically on the ground. The damage is just from things being brought onto the ground.
Okay.
They're not going around smashing it up afterwards. It's very deliberately like they're looking for something. I think this is the last place that you feel that they went to. And your message that you left is gone.
Right. Okay.
What's your passive perception?
15.
15. Okay. I think you're on edge. So actually make me a perception check. As you're searching through this place and you're standing in this empty room, I don't know if you've lit any light source so you can see better, or just relying on your dark vision. You see like a movement out the corner of your eye, and that cat is in the window. And as it sees you looking at it, it jumps away.
Okay.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, I'm going to place the clock back on the mantelpiece.
Yep.
In my inside pocket, I'm going to pull out a folded piece of paper and I'm going to scribble on there, "What the fuck, Frank? What's going on?"
Okay. Yep.
I'm hoping that you get this and that you can get this. I'm going to be indisposed for a while. Hopefully, catch up soon. But what the fuck, Frank?
But what the fuck, Frank? Yeah.
And put it back behind the clock.
Okie dokie. Yep, you put that back behind the clock. Do you lock up behind you, or do you just?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, when I turn the key, does the energy come? Does that
come back?
Warning comes back on? Okay.
It comes back. Yeah.
Okay.
So whoever got in before did not use the key to get in, and obviously could not use the key to leave behind them, which left. Yeah, go on.
Right, my next stop is in the suburbs of Birmingham.
Okay.
I'm heading towards the house of Captain Mortimer.
Okay.
I'm going to do a drive-by, see if his Jag's in the driveway.
Yeah, it's you can see a light on as well. He seems to be awake at this late hour.
Okay. I park my bike in the middle of his lawn.
Okay.
On purpose, and I will make sure when I leave that I'll be doing it at high revs.
Yeah.
And I'll go and I'll knock on the door.
After a couple of minutes, I say a couple of minutes, after a couple of seconds, really. He comes to the door, and you can see that he's put on a coat. And he opens the door, steps outside, and closes it behind him. And he goes, "Did you have to park on the lawn?"
Sorry, Morton, I'm in a bit of a rush. Bit flustered, mate. Sorry.
Well, spit it out.
Well, I've got a job. It's not necessarily for the ICC, but I might need a bit of a hand with it. Now, the bonus for you is it's a very dangerous job. People have died doing this job, so this might be your chance to see the last of me. But I
can only hope.
I need a favour.
Another?
Yeah. Well, just keep that in mind that this might be the last time you get to see me. But I'm after a magical vessel that will hold a magical fluid and retain its properties. I'm guessing in the warehouse there must have been something that was confiscated for the norms.
Are you talking about the Mages Council items?
Yeah.
As in, all right, okay.
Yeah, stuff that they will have confiscated off of people who really shouldn't be handling
Oh,
that stuff.
okay. I see sort of like the evidence locker rather than the actual. I see. I understand.
I'm thinking Warehouse 13 when I say warehouse. Yeah, so.
Oh, that's a cool idea. Yeah, well, that's canon now. So, he goes, oh, actually, make me a persuasion check. With disadvantage, you parked on his lawn.
I called him Mortimer.
Don't care.
Okay. Oh, disadvantage. Right. Let's roll that first.
Oh, you son of a bitch! Okay.
I'm reasonably good at that.
He looks like he's just like he has that gruff look that he always gets, where he's just he tends to cut you off mid sentence and just walk away from you most of the time. You have this habit of really irritating him, but this time round, I think maybe the thought of never seeing you again really brings him round to the idea of just letting you go on this trip. So he goes, all right, I'll let Sally know you're coming. Head back round there. She'll have a look with you. I can't promise anything. I don't know what's in there. Do I look like a person who memorizes everything in that goddamn warehouse? And that's all you get from him.
Okay.
But you know where the warehouse is.
Yeah.
Let's make a decision on where that is. It's going to be on the outskirts of Birmingham, I think, just because of ease of them getting hold of anything. So a little bit away from everything. So I think this warehouse is like specifically located. Looks like an old cattle barn that's been converted. On the outside, it just looks run down and shit, but on the inside, obviously, it's all souped up magically, and it's away from any densely populated areas, just in case. Some of the stuff they find is real wacky and can be quite dangerous. So you know where you're going, and you know Sally, so you can head towards there. I'll say that you get there quite quickly.
Well, as I leave, I'm going to sort of go over to a bike. Goes, cheers, Morty, you're a swell. Let's hope not seeing you anymore. And ride off.
You hear the door slam. That's the you see his head in the warped window of his front door. You leaving a nice tire track mark in his front garden. His perfectly manicured lawn completely ruined by this ruffian. You head off towards this warehouse, which I think colloquially they're all going to call the shed.
Sounds good.
So Sally's waiting for you at the shed. Obviously, she'd had a message from Mortimer as soon as you'd left. She meets you. She's quite a stout woman, sort of like mid-40s. And as you pull up, she kind of grins at you and goes, "You really like pissing him off, don't you?"
It's a talent.
All right, get in here. And she'll go through the place with you. I'm going to require one more check from you to see whether this shed actually has any kind of vessel for you to use. So I want you to make me a DC 18 investigation check. You can do it with advantage because you're helping. Damn, you son of a bitch. Yeah, you find a it looks like a jug, one of those really old cottagey things with a picture of like a village town hall on it and a church. The pictures on it seem to move of their own accord, sort of like daylight, night. But that's the only sort of magical thing that you feel about it. When you do identify, because you can do that for ritual, can't you?
No, actually, I can't.
Oh, can you not? Oh, well, she'll tell you that they've identified all of these things. It basically, it can hold anything. lava. It can hold lava. Like it really can hold anything. The downside, I think, would probably be that. What's the downside to this thing? Why is it in the shed? I think that it's lightly. It gives everybody that comes into contact with it a really uneasy feeling, and it's just unpleasant to be around. It's kind of like almost haunted, but without being haunted. They've checked it. It doesn't seem to be cursed. Who knows? The last person who had it was an old deer that that just collected junk and ended up living by herself because no one would come around. Probably due to the jug. So yeah, you now have this rather weirdly looking cottage jug.
Okay, I'll give her a hug. Cheers, Sally. You're a love.
No worries, lad.
Dinner sometime, yeah.
Yeah, of course you can come over. Maybe grace us with your presence once in a while. Be good to see you. I know Susan misses you. So yeah, she guides you out, and then you, I'm assuming, head off to Birmingham.
Yes.
Well, you're in Birmingham outside.
Yeah, but back to the ICC.
Back to the ICC. Let's go to Andy very quickly. Ken, where were you going to go? Were you heading somewhere? Nowhere. I apologise.
I'm going to stay and look through the library for.
Okay. So you're probably there when Hendrix is doing his research. Yeah. Okay.
So you can know everything that he knows because they're discussing it with the woman as well. So.
You what?
You can know everything that Hendrix knows.
I know, but what did he say at the end of that?
Oh.
Because I've been discussing it with the woman.
Oh, you've been discussing it, right? Okay.
So you'd have overheard it if nothing else.
Yeah.
With Daria. Okay. Andy.
Yes.
You head towards the ICC, and you're going straight there, yeah?
Yep, and I shall park in an NCP nearby in my Land Rover.
Very neat.
Completely legally.
I'm really seeing the character development here, guys. This is great.
And then
he's just a wannabe Ian. Idiot. Ian laid down the gauntlet of being a bad boy, and now Andy's just kind of want to live up to it.
He's a rebel.
And then, no, the complete reverse. Just before he gets out of his Land Rover, though, he concentrates slightly in the sort of brown, shabby, duster-style long coat he was wearing, more into a much smarter black overcoat. I mean, he's still got the same clothes underneath. He's not smart, but he's smarter than he was.
Yeah. You step out of the car, and the coat settles nicely on your frame. You look a lot, like, as you say, a lot smarter with this more like blazery-ish looking rather than the dust coat overcoat type thing.
And then I shall wander into the reception and ask to speak to
Ruben.
Yeah, I've clicked off it. Ruben Hughes. That's it.
Ruben Hughes. So you make your way to the building that he sent you to. So technically not the ICC. It's walking distance. Yes. Yeah. But you know. And before you can even get to the front door, it slides open and he comes out and meets you. He's a young, sort of early 20s looking lad, very smartly dressed. He's wearing sort of just a general sort of hi, I'm here to help sort of demeanor about him. Sort of bordering on nervous psycho energies. Yes, absolutely. It's like blue pinstripe. Clearly off the what a prick, am I right? He's yeah, and he meets you at the I did have a picture for him. Hang on, let me see if I can find. It was a while ago because it was the other campaign I used him for. Where are you, Ruben? I okay, I might not. But yeah, he meets you and says, right this way, Mr. Baron, and
Baron.
takes
Just Baron.
as you wish. And he takes you. He leads the way. He goes through. It just looks like a normal office building, to be honest. Like truly, there's like a greetings desk. Nobody's in it because it's really late at night. It looks. He's got like a set of keys on him that he's obviously just got, and he's also. You can see that he's got just a load of paperwork that obviously he's left his office with. He's probably going to go home after this sort of thing. It's getting closer to midnight, and he takes you to the lift and clicks the 6th floor. All the way to the top to number 6, and you are on a floor that looks like every other. It's very that kind of beige and coffee brown coloured everything, and he uses one of these keys that looks more like an old iron garden key, but it's smoother rather than that rustic stamped quality that you usually find with the garden keys, and it's got runes up the side of it, and as he puts it in the door of this rather nondescript part of the hallway, like door and hallway, he opens it up, and you know that this is obviously an extra dimensional space. It opens up into a place much bigger and much more complex, as it were, than you were in previously and would have held in that space. He does some spell work as well. Once you get to the door, there's obviously a kind of spell work key code to get in, which he does very, very quickly. If you want to have tried to figure out how to have done that.
No, that's not
fine.
Not my interest.
Brilliant. And he leads you through. There's a load of desks and things around. There's workbench. There's an area beyond that has like workbenches on it, and some like drawings of prototypes of items. You go a little bit further beyond that, and there's a very large steel-looking door with again runes on it, and it looks like a giant safe, basically, a vault. And again, he does some more spell work. It takes a little while, but he'll open it up, and he says, "And what you're looking for is one of our multi-use containers. Is that correct?" It's technically our containment.
It needs to be something to hold water and to hold a
it should
that is magical and retain its magical properties when it's brought back from a demiplane to this plane.
A demiplane? You're going to a demiplane? Sorry, it's not my business. I can fetch you one of these. He goes. I'm assuming you only need the one.
2 would be better. 3 would be brilliant.
Make me a persuasion check. Just a straight one, because you didn't park on his lawn.
You were a bad boy enough.
I use the NCP. God, such a square.
What a square!
Persuasion.
You didn't pay for it though.
Yeah. Well, it's past 8 o'clock. It's fine. Yeah.
It's
he
24
kind of
hours
goes.
Sorry, I totally failed to see that result.
It's a 24.
Before.
Right. So he says, right, that's it, Mr. Sorry, Baron. He goes into the vault. His body language is indicating that you shouldn't follow him. But so he goes in, and
I will have a glance over his shoulder at what else is in
Yep.
the vault.
Absolutely. You see what look like rows and rows of things on the walls. There's a lot of weaponry. So there's a few things like battens that having worked with the Order of the Star, the Order of the Shield a couple of times, I think. Have you worked with the Order of the Star as well? I think maybe. Yes, I think you probably would have.
Not that I remember.
Well, maybe not, but they have very similar-ish equipment. Obviously, the Order of the Shield has significantly more because of what they have to deal with. There's things that look a lot like mundane items, though obviously you know they're not. Handcuffs, stones with sort of like, it looks like a flat pebble with very fine runic writing going around in a circle, going all the way into the middle. These are just things that you can see from the doorway. If you want to see further in, whilst he's not looking, you would have to make a perception check.
No,
but this is just what you're seeing.
No,
Yeah,
I'm not abusing that way.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. So what you can see from the doorway is basically that some guns up on the wall, a couple of things like battens that obviously do extra things, whatever they're doing, tasers, like those square taser machines, and that's all you can see for now. And he goes further into the vault. There's several shelves that block your view of where he's gone, and he returns with two containers, and he goes, "We are quite limited, I'm afraid. They're always being used, and we get a backlog of already used items that we need to re-enchant, and we're forever catching up on ourselves, I'm afraid. So I can give you these two." And he hands them over, and they look like kind of like thermoflasks actually, but they're made of like a slate type stone. You think, oh, will they break if they were to be dropped or something? But they feel like solid. Yeah, stone thermos flasks that when you twist the top, it's almost like thick ones, like the soup ones you can get, or ones you can put pasta in, or things like that. So they're kind of like that. And he explains that the reason they have them is they use them to preserve evidence. So at a scene, they might have to collect. In the mundane realm, it'll be like biohazard materials, but for magical reasons, it'll be like magically biohazard, which is obviously quite dangerous. So they use these containers for that. So he gives you those two, and he says, "And please send my regards to Miss Ashcroft."
I will pass those on. I have a further question for you, though, Ruben.
Absolutely.
And I fully accept that I may need to return and talk to someone more in the sales department. But do you? I'm in need of healing items, potions, salves. Is that something that you make within this artificating department, or whatever it's called?
That will be part of the department. Unfortunately, those are a little bit more. We don't make a great deal of them. We have dedicated clerics on the staff that will go out with each team, so we don't find that we often need much use for anything beyond a healing balm, which is perhaps, if you're going to a demiplane, might not be sufficient. I'm afraid I can't really help you any further.
I'm prepared to pay for it officially. Is there anything that might be for sale?
He kind of looks a little like he starts to maybe an investigation, a insight check. Quickly.
Insight. Oh, I'm shite at that.
Oh, good. Yeah, he just seems like perhaps he's trying to go home after a shift is already past his thing, and he's like, I don't really.
Should I come back and talk to you tomorrow morning, or should I talk to someone else?
No. I can deal with your query. That's fine.
Let's talk further in the morning then. Have a think on it.
Okay, brilliant.
What time do you start?
This is
7
brilliant.
o'clock. Yeah.
7 o'clock.
Oh,
Sicky tomorrow.
7 o'clock. Yes, so I'll be. I'm opening up the offices. So.
I will see you at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning then.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. It's just this way, and then he leads you kind of out. He'll follow behind you. Leads out the way he came. Does the whole magical wardings things on the vault, and then the front door. He seems to double check everything twice. He seems quite like methodical with everything he does. Takes you outside and locks up afterwards. And unless there's anything else you want to say to him, he's just very pleasant and tells you he'll see you in the morning.
Yeah, I will then go and find some sort of hotel or B&B or a Premier Inn or something to.
Well, you also know of the hotel being. There's probably a few of you that know of the hotel. I'd say probably Andy, Tom, and maybe Ian. So, or rather, Baron, Daryl, and Raphy know of the hotel. Everyone else wouldn't. So the hotel is a magical hotel. The front door of it, much like that bookstore, appears in places where it's densely populated. So big cities like Birmingham, London, Manchester, those sort of places. You will find an entrance to this hotel. You can only go through if you go through a place in Birmingham, you can only come out in that place again. It's not used as travel between places. It's a bubble realm in all itself, essentially, and it's a place for higher up mages to stay at when they have nowhere else to stay. It has a level of prestige to it, but not like to the point where it's obnoxious. It's just
within my price range.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. It should be within technically all of your price range, being the level you're at. But obviously, only certain people are going to know about it. How often do you think that Baron would have used this? Bearing in mind that it isn't just limited to England either. There are some places overseas. Tom. Tom. You've got to mute yourself because it's causing a load of feedback. He's put it in front of the fan. That's what it is. The fan's causing feedback, love.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. Yeah. So you could. There is
I probably use it occasionally. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a frequent
flyer. Yeah.
Yeah. Frequent visitor.
So you could head there if you want, or unless you have another alternative thing that you want to use.
No, I think he'll go and stay there just for the ease because it's so late at night.
Okay. So I think
one last thing I was going to do.
Yeah, sure.
I was just going to send. I'm going to start a WhatsApp group chat.
Fucking course you are.
The other three who I've got mobiles for.
Okay.
Say, I've got 2 single-use flasks, but I would suggest we have something that is better than these if we can.
Okay.
To which I reply, I have the magic jug of doom.
There's a picture.
I'll explain when I see you, but I think you'll get the job done. Might need some cling film because it ain't got a lid.
Yeah.
And I'll go. I'll meet you at the bar.
And Andy, Baron, as you walk into the hotel, I think just because of the way of things and nice narrative, you also see Raphy, who's just arrived as well, who seems to have headed this into the hotel.
Okay. I shall read his text messages and walk over and say,
the text message just does not appear whilst you're in the hotel. So you send it, he does not receive it because he's already in there.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry.
Doesn't work in. That's all right.
Yeah.
Doesn't work in extra dimensional spaces.
Okay,
But-
I'll have stood outside for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
sending messages, waiting for a response, getting one from Daryl, but then
Yeah.
not others. But I'm not really expecting others, and then
And then, of course, yeah.
and then
Okay.
and then going in and finding and then I'll join Raphy for a drink in the bar. Yes.
Brilliant. You head into the hotel. Do I do this now?
I think you should probably do. I think the person who's behind you at the moment is Liam.
Yes,
'Cause he's got
that's.
some stuff in the library.
I think I'm going to leave you both at the hotel because there's something I wanted to do in the hotel. So,
And also something for Cadman as well.
that's what I'm thinking. I'm going to go back to Liam and Cadman and Hendrix for now, just and then that will probably be us for this evening, if that's okay. And then we'll do the.
Don't ask Hendrix to roll on your dice though. You've had enough.
No, I'm not
Yeah,
going to.
yeah, don't.
He's not allowed.
What's the point?
It's not
What's
allowed
the
to ask
fucking point?
anything.
Fucking
'cause
rogues.
Otherwise, yeah.
Okay.
Nobody will get a look in.
Let's start at Liam. Was there anything particular that you were looking for? Did I cover everything with you or not?
No, you haven't
no.
done anything with me.
No, I know. I'm very
No.
sorry.
That's all right.
What is it that you were going to do? Were you just hanging around?
No,
or...
I was looking. I was wanted to bit like Ben Hendrix used the library for my purposes to see if I can find any information on vampires, powerful vampires history, or not what I already know, but like known locations, possible hunting grounds, and anything. Use the library to facilitate my continual hunting of said vermin.
But unlike Hendrix, he won't be licking his balls while he's reading.
Wow. Where's Cadman? Is he still at the house? No, you went to go to Canterbury, didn't you? I'll get back to you in a second.
No worries.
I think you kind of. I don't know whether this is sort of meta-ish or not. You're an expert in your field.
Yeah.
You already know pretty much everything there is to know about vampires, and anything that you need to find out about specific locations likely is not going to be found in a book. If I'm honest.
Okay.
I can give you some history on vampires, like mythology and folklore that you may not have looked at.
Yeah, this he's into items, isn't he? This guy.
Yes, he's into
So
artifacts.
maybe searching the library for any unique items that I haven't heard of that are good at slaying vampires.
Okay.
Like a way to get radiant damage on a weapon or something, or
very good. Okay, yes, absolutely.
Radiant weapons that I could utilize, because I haven't had anything like that. I've relied on the traditional beat them up a lot and then hack their heads off and stake them.
If it ain't broke.
Yeah. But I've seen. I mean, I probably haven't come across many paladins, and I've seen these guys.
Beat down real good.
This damage, this golden, like glowing damage, which I obviously know what it is, and realise how useful that would be in my continuing quest.
Okay,
like radiant grenades would be good.
Absolutely fuck off.
Well, and then the location of the vampire council.
The head vampires, absolutely.
Head vampire council.
Absolutely right away. Just a DC 12 investigation.
Yeah, cool.
Sure.
Excellent.
Make me an investigation check, you fucking womble. Oh, that's pretty good though.
I think you fucking womble is my new favourite insult.
Jeez. You guys are rolling insane. I'd just like to put out there. Okay. Yeah, you find a load of books. You know that Renwick doesn't have a great deal of items in his actual home.
Yeah. I'm not expecting there to be any items here. I'm expecting it to be...
Research on it, yeah.
Absolutely.
And this is the best place to have done it, truly. You're absolutely correct. Everything is geared towards items and their histories and folklore around them. Now, You you start reading books. About the history of Ireland. You know that the Tuatha De Danann are the gods of
Yep.
the Fae,
Yep.
which is either very powerful Fae or gods themselves.
Yeah.
The Tuatha De Danann come from Ireland originally, or they're the Irish version of them. There's a book that you find, or several books, I should say, that detail something called the Four Treasures of the Tuatha De Danann. And within the Four Treasures, there's the Stone of Fal, which is, I will write these down in there for you. No. I might have to ping it to you later.
Yeah, okay.
Because they're very difficult to spell because they're Irish.
That's fine. Do it later. Yeah.
So there's the Stone of Fal, the Cleaver Solus, the Spear of Lu, and the Cauldron of the Dagda. Now, the Spear of Lu and the Cleaver, I don't know if I'm even pronouncing that correctly, Solus. The Cleaver Solus was owned originally by Nuada. Nuada is used to be the king of the Tuatha De Danann before he lost his arm. The Cleaver Solus means sword of light, and it is quite literally a radiant sword that was held by the Tuatha De Danann to fight against their enemies, against mostly the Firbolg and others that were either already in Ireland when they invaded or invaded Ireland after they arrived. And the Spear of Lu was said to be undefeatable. And there are variations on these weapons throughout all of folklore. They're not the only ones of their type as well, but they are like the most powerful noted that you know of. So yeah, that's what a high roll like that is going to get you. You don't know. I think it gives a rough location of where it might have ended up for the Sword of Light. And I'd say it is known that it resides somewhere in Fairy. As for the Spear of Lu, completely no trail of it whatsoever.
But from my investigation, there could be other things that do similar things. Maybe not as powerful, but
potentially. But as you're going through this, if you're sharing this with other people, are you sharing this with Renwick at all, or are you just doing
yeah, I am sharing it with Renwick because I'm also considering not taking the money, but taking his assistance in helping find some sort of boon for getting something.
Yeah, he's happy to trade that sort of thing with you. So he explains that a lot of there are things like the Four Treasures of the Tuatha De Danann or the Four Treasures of Ireland. There's also the 13 treasures of the Isle of Britain, which is a lot of stuff that's mentioned again in the Mabignonian, the histories of King Arthur from both the Celtic side and the Christian side, because everyone wrote about King Arthur and there's different stories around all the other heroes. There's lots of different items that do different things, have different powers, specifically to maybe defeat certain enemies. Things like creatures described like vampires, or creatures described like werewolves, creatures described like cryptids, etc. However, a lot of them may have been broken, lost, disappeared, disenchanted, buried forever, never to be seen again with their previous owners. so much stuff could have happened to them in such a short range of time. You have truly no idea whether any of them are viable to be able to get. However, the strongest link is probably the Sword of Light that you know is somewhere in Fairy. It's rumored.
All right.
Okay.
Yep. Cool.
Cool. That was cool. Thanks for that. That was just off the dome. Kyle, you head back
Yes.
to Canterbury.
Yep.
You make your way back. It probably takes. You probably get back at about 12, 1 o'clock-ish. In fact, actually, how are you getting back? Are you taking public transport or?
Yep. Train or bus, whichever's available.
Okay. I say you can get back. Probably take you a little while. Just because public transport being public transport. I think the last train rolls into not Maidstone, Canterbury West, which is about 10 minutes from the Lady Luck.
Yep.
And you know that you could probably head over there and she'll be in. So
Sure.
yeah, you head over, you walk through the very beautiful cobbled streets of Canterbury. This late at night, there's only the odd drunk around stumbling out of the pub. They don't seem to pay you too much mind. The Lady Luck itself seems to have recently closed its doors. Students heading out and wandering off the street, some of them singing. And even though it's locked, you knock on the door. You see a thing come across the door. It's one of those old style black doors with the slide across thing on it.
Yep.
Someone looks out and goes, "Who's there? What do you look like?"
I'd have probably switched over to looking more like a student at the time of night.
Is it
Rather
something
than-
that you would have been recognised as before in this place?
Yeah, it'd be one of the students I've
Okay.
come in before as.
And you would have would you have introduced yourself as
Yeah.
Cadman to this worker? Okay.
Yes,
So
Cadman.
yeah, he goes, "Oh, Cadman, okay." And he opens the door and says, "You here to see Lucy?"
Yes, please.
Oh, yeah, she's at the back, mate. And then you go past, and he locks up behind you. You can see there's only 2 members of staff here. It's him and another person, and they're cleaning up and wiping down tables and things like that. You know where
Can I
you
get a
need to go.
Guinness and one for her, please? And whatever she's drinking.
Yeah, absolutely. And he, the other member of staff does that and says, "I'll bring it over." And you head down at the back, past the little courtyard, which is a garden. There's like a mirror here that looks like it looks like they've taken an old window frame and put a mirror behind it, which looks really cool. You pull the mirror open and you step through a little garden part and into another part of the pub, which goes a little bit further. This is where Lucy likes to stay when she wants to just observe everybody without being seen. She can see through the mirrors at other people, but they can't see back. And you find yourself in this place. Lucy is sitting there at a bench, and as you walk in, she has a chair next to her, and she goes, "Oh, this is lucky. I just pulled up a chair.
It always is.
Can I help you?"
Need to pick your thoughts.
Of course.
You suggested I go visit that flyer.
Yes, I did.
Seems like a good idea. What can you tell me about pocket realms and elixirs and waters of immortality or youth or whatever it was? Something.
Well, I know that waters that heal is quite rare. They used to be quite abundant, but unfortunately humans have poisoned the areas or made them mundane with their
Humans are quite
lack
good
of
at ruining
yes.
beautiful things.
I Unless it's anything specific, I don't think I can tell you anything more than maybe that you already know. You know that I can't go further than certain places, so...
I was just wondering if you might perchance be lucky enough to know of anywhere I could get hold of a vessel to hold such healing waters without making them mundane or...
I've heard that there are plenty of items, old, ancient items. Were you not lucky enough to find one where you went this evening?
There was a bit of unluck to go with it, apparently.
That does unfortunately happen when I extend my luck to somebody. It has to counterbalance somewhere else. I'm afraid I can't really help you. I'm not a procurer of items of a magical nature. I prefer the company of people.
Oh, that's why I asked you whether you knew people.
Oh,
or
I see.
watched people that could...
Well, there is a witch that I know of. I don't know if he would have anything. The only thing that he deals a lot with alchemy. He makes a lot of potions and things. Perhaps he has as a vessel to hold such things. Potions often come in the magical variety. I believe his name's Gareth Smith.
I assume he doesn't cause trouble because you haven't mentioned him to me before.
No, he's only visited once or twice, but we know each other, and he comes down for advice sometimes. Maybe a little
So he's a good
extra.
one.
Oh yes, he's a friend. I have a feeling you should go meet him. Maybe
I'll have to do that
tomorrow.
then.
How is your friend doing in the sanctuary, by the way?
I may have got a deal to sort him out.
That's good. Well, it seems like your trip was most beneficial to you.
It always is. When you advise me something, it always seems to work out for the better.
I'm glad. Come sit down. And at this point, the staff member brings in the two drinks for you both, and you take your seat. And if there's nothing else for the moment, you both sit and drink and just enjoy each other's company for now.
Yep.
All right. I think that's probably where I'm going to leave it for the evening. Thank you all so much. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. And we can pick up not next week because there's a couple of us not here. So it'll be the week after. We're taking a week off, which I think we'll need to in this heat, frankly. My brain is melting. Okay.
Did very well with the melty brain.
I did. I survived. Woohoo! But that's it for us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, people.
Bye.
I'll
Later.